Hi, Eileen Veilleux The Fam here. Welcome to another installment in our mini mental health series. And in this installment, we are going to be covering sleep terrors, otherwise commonly known as night terrors. Before we begin, though, let me just remind you to please watch the full video, because in the video there will be 3 key words. When I get to the key word, I will say keyword and then what that keyword is. At the end of the video, in the comment section, along with a genuine comment about the video, put in what the 3 keywords are to be eligible for my free merch giveaway when I reach 2,000 subscribers. So let's get started. What is night terrors or sleep terrors? Can you tell me? Well, basically what sleep terrors is, it's an episode of screaming, intense fear, and flailing while still asleep, also known as night terrors. Sleep terrors often are paired with sleepwalking. Like sleepwalking, sleep terrors are considered a keyword parasomnia, which is an undesired occurring during sleep. A sleep terror episode usually lasts from seconds to a few minutes, but episodes may last longer. Sleep terrors affect almost 40% of children and a much smaller percentage of adults. However, frightening, sleep terrors aren't usually a cause for concern. Most children outgrow the sleep terrors by their teenage years. Sleep terrors may require treatment if they cause problems getting enough sleep or they pose a safety risk. So what are the symptoms of sleep terrors? Well, sleep terrors differ from nightmares. The dreamer of a nightmare wakes up from the dream and may remember details of it, but a person who has a sleep terror episode remains asleep. Children usually don't remember anything about their sleep terrors in the morning. Adults may recall a dream fragment they had during their sleep terrors. Sleep terrors generally occur in the first third to the first half of the night and rarely during naps. A sleep terror may lead to sleepwalking. During a sleep terror episode, a person may begin with a frightening scream or shout, sit up in bed and appear frightened, stare wide-eyed, sweat, breathe heavily, and have a racing pulse, flushed face, and dilated pupils. They may kick and thrash and be hard to waken and be confused if awakened. They also may be inconsolable and have a little memory of the event in the next morning. Probably get out of bed and run around the house or have aggressive behavior if blocked or restrained. So, when should you see a doctor if you have a sleep terror? Occasionally, sleep terrors aren't usually a cause for concern, as we stated. But if your child has sleep terrors, or you do, you can simply mention them at a routine well-child exam or at your next doctor's visit. However, consult your doctor if sleep terrors become more frequent, routinely disrupt the sleep of a person with sleep terrors or other family members. If they lead to safety concerns or injury, result in daytime symptoms of excessive sleepiness or problems functioning, or they continue beyond the teenage years and into adulthood. Do we know what causes sleep terrors? There's lots of things that could cause them. They are classified, as I said, as a parasomnia, which is an undesirable behavior or experience during sleep. Sleep terrors are, keyword, disorder of arousal, meaning they occur during N3 sleep, the deepest stage of non-rapid eye movement, which is called NREM sleep. Another NREM disorder is sleepwalking, which can occur together with sleep terrors. Various factors can contribute to sleep terrors, such as sleep deprivation and extreme tiredness, stress, sleep schedule disruptions, travel or sleep interruptions, and fever. Sleep terrors sometimes can be triggered by underlying conditions that interfere with sleep, such as sleep disordering breathing, a group of disorders that include abnormal breathing patterns during sleep, the most common of which is obstructive sleep apnea, restless leg syndrome, some medications, mood disorders such as depression and anxiety, in adults, alcohol abuse. So, what are the risk factors? Well, sleep terrors are more common in family members that have a history of sleep terrors or sleepwalking. In children, sleep terrors are more common in families. Some complications that may result from experiencing sleep terrors include excessive daytime sleepiness, which can lead to difficulties at school or work or problems with everyday activities. Disturbed sleep, embarrassment about the sleep terrors or problems with relationships, keyword injury to oneself or really to someone nearby. Um, I can tell you a little bit about sleep terrors. They do not cover everything in there. When they say stress, you could go through something severe. Um, I went through something really traumatic before we moved to Texas a while back. When my youngest was like 5 years old. It was something traumatic that I personally went through myself that really affected me, where that is exactly what I went through. I went through sleep terrors. I mean, I went to counseling, I went to therapy for what happened. I did all the appropriate steps, but as they said, with nightmares, you can remember things about it. With the sleep terror, you don't remember anything. You just wake up and you're shaking or you're sweating, you're breathing heavily, you're confused and you're dazed. You can't get it out of your system because there's no way to talk about what that was. All you know is you had something while you were asleep that woke you up in a snap and not in a good way. So it can happen when you go through something really traumatic. Like I said, I went through counseling. Um, I went to see a psychiatrist where they tried to help me with my sleep terrors. They gave me an antidepressant to try to help me out, but they also did like an artificial NREM movement, which is when your eyes go like this back and forth at night. And the way they do that is they take a light and they take your finger and you follow it back and forth because that's the natural movement of your eyes when you're asleep. Well, that helped a little bit. But the good thing about, like they said, with night terrors is as soon as it's not something that's a permanent disability, you could have them as an adult. Now, if you have like any of the things that they said, like if you're a sleepwalker, you may have it constantly. You could get it if you have restless leg syndrome. Um, there's a number of ways you can get it, as we stated, but it's not, if you take care of things, it's not permanent. Now, I've had nightmares that have woke me up, but I can remember the nightmares. But when I had the night terrors, it was really hard. My husband was alive at the time, and it's really hard on family members. So if you are an adult that has it, make sure you reach out to your mate and let them know, so they don't feel left out. When I was going through my sleep terrors, it really affected my husband, to a point because he thought it was him, and I had to have him come to my therapy sessions with me, which was hard, because of what happened to me. It was kind of uncomfortable, not just for me, but for other people there. Um, but he came, and he had to come with me to the psychiatrist so they could explain to him that it was not him. That the sleep terrors, it's just I'm having these terrible things going through my head that I cannot recall. Um, there was only one thing that I could recall with the sleep terror, but it wasn't actually with the sleep terror. It was something that I could see plain as day, wide awake during the daytime. As soon as I blinked my eyes, I would see that one thing. So that didn't really help. But going through all the counseling and the therapy did help. Um, the only thing I can say is if you have a child that is going through sleep terrors, be as comforting as you can. If they need to have you sleep with them, let them. If they want a stuffed animal, let them. As an adult, I know a lot of people are going to think this is childish for me. But because I get the sleep terrors, like I said, they don't come every night, but even since that, every once in a while I'll get one. It's not very often. Maybe once or twice a year I'll have a sleep terror again. And I find what helps me because I'm by myself is a stuffed animal. If you don't want a stuffed animal, get a body pillow. But most of the times it's just so because that it grounds you back into reality. When I get a sleep terror, I do have to wake up, look around, walk around the house, get my brain to relax and get my body to calm down again, and then I can fall back to sleep. And I normally don't have it. Now, I do remember one time when I did have a nightmare. It wasn't a sleep terror, it was a nightmare, but it did include sleepwalking. And that was only once when I was a child. Um, and that was I had a real bad toothache when that happened. And I was watching the original Dark Shadows, and at that time, that influenced my dreaming. I had a dream about it. It scared me, to a point where I was sleepwalking, and I literally attacked my mom. My dad had to snap me out of it, and ever since I wasn't allowed to watch Dark Shadows anymore, which I didn't want to watch because I felt really bad, for attacking my mom. And I didn't know what I did. I didn't realize I was attacking her, um, or anything until my dad snapped me out of it, and I was standing there. And I started to cry when I realized what I was doing, and I apologized and apologized and apologized, because I love my mom and dad. Unfortunately, my mom's no longer with us, but that was the only time I can remember as a child. But like I said, that was from a nightmare, um, accompanied by a severe toothache. Um, but the night terror, I don't think I've actually had until I went through that traumatic event. Um, so I try to make sure that I do prevention, and if I think something's going to trigger that again, I try to restrain from watching, even if it's a program that I think is going to be really good or interesting. If I have the slightest inkling that that's going to trigger a night terror again, I won't watch it. Um, I avert from doing things that could bring it back. So that's what a night terror is. Like they said, mainly children can, get it, and it runs in the family. There's not a lot of information on it, but we'll go more into it later. I wanted to give you my personal experience that I had with the night terror before I let you go, because that's the best way of understanding it is through somebody that's been there. Okay? Um, so it's not just research that you're learning from a personal experience. And like I said, mine was caused from a very traumatic thing that I went through. And it took me a good while to get over it, because my night terrors from that would be every night. It wasn't like once a month or once every 3 months. It was every single night. And it's very, very scary, even as an adult. So if you know anybody, child or adult, that has a night terror, please just be as comforting as you can. Don't make fun of them. Um, Let them know, when they wake you up, that you're there for them. It's rough on them too, because a lot of times if they don't understand it, they will put the blame on themselves and think it's something that they did or said wrong. And it's not. It has nothing, most of the times it has nothing to do with the family members. So, you need to reassure them of that and let them know that you're there for them. And, let them know what you're going through so that they can be there to help you. So before I let you go, I want to get down and get personal with you, because you all mean something to me. I check my Twitter daily, and I see messages from a lot of my friends that are suffering out there. They're suffering from anxiety, which is a big mental illness out there. I mean, there's just about every type of mental illness has anxiety. Even this, if you remember, it is said it's caused by stress. Stress is a form of anxiety. So anxiety plays a lot of roles with a lot of mental illnesses. Please, if you're out there suffering from any type of mental illness, physical illness, or you're just feeling alone, reach out to someone. Be like the AT&T. Reach out to someone. Let them touch you to help bring you back. Nobody should go through anything alone. I don't care if it's just loneliness. Especially this time of year, it's hard for a lot of people. And we all need to remember that. It's not so much of, saying, hey, it's Christmas, so we should be, forgiving. We should be like that year round. But it's especially a little harder on people this time of year, because of the financial stress involved, excuse me, with Christmas. Or they're by themselves, so they feel alone. They feel left out. Or they might have lost someone around this time of year. The holidays isn't as joyful as a lot of people think it is for everybody. For some people, the holidays is a very sad time of year for them. It's hard for them. So remember that, try to be pleasant. Let them know, hey, if you want to talk, I'm here. You're not alone. And that's what the message I want to give to you out there is you're not alone. If you ever need to reach out and talk to me, message me on Twitter. For those that don't know, go to my homepage, on my homepage, on my banner. I just started a Facebook group. Well, I have a Facebook page, excuse me. It's called Mental Health in You. Excuse me. Send me a message on there. If you can't get me on Twitter, or if you just want to make sure you reach out to me more than one way, be my guest. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. You can message me through that page or just regular Facebook message me. If you have my number, you can text me. Reach out. I will be there for you. I know what it's like to be alone. I know what it's like to be hurting during the holidays. This is a rough time for me. I lost my husband in January of 2012, and a month before, I lost my mom. Buried her the day before, 2 days before my birthday. So I know what it's like to be hurting during these holidays. And nobody should be hurting. Nobody should be alone. I may be alone at my house. I do have a companion. I have my dog. He's a great companion. He goes everywhere I go unless I leave the house. And right now he's outside my office door just lying there waiting for me to open the door. And I have my YouTube family that I am very, very thankful for. I love each and every one of you out there, especially my YouTube family. You know who you are. Granny, Mo Homesteading, Messall, Mama Q, Hunting and Stuff with J&J, Snobby, Dusty. You all know who you are. You know where I go. Gil Skills. You guys are like my second family. And even on my birthday, when my birthday was down, I want to thank Granny especially. And Granny, I know you don't normally watch a lot of these videos, but I'm going to tag you in this video because I want to do a special shout out for you. Because, see, my birthday wasn't that pleasant until Granny made sure that it was the best that it could be. Because, see, my kids, most times, the holidays are times when you spend with your family. Well, my immediate family, like my dad and my sisters, they're all scattered. I'm the only one here in Texas. Okay, my dad is in South Carolina. I have two sisters one in South Carolina, one in North Carolina. One of my other sisters is in Massachusetts, and I have a brother in Nashua, New Hampshire. My kids are in New Hampshire. So, I don't have anyone here. It's just me. And, I was feeling kind of down because none of my immediate family, like my mom, well, my mom can't because she's not with us, but like my sisters or my brother that's alive still, didn't even bother to call or anything. And I didn't think I was going to get a card from my boys, which I normally do every year. But I normally get it, like a day before my birthday. Well, on the 11th, I didn't get nothing. And I still was sad because I remembered my mom's passing and burying her 2 days before my birthday in 2012. So, yeah, I remember that. And then, I remember my husband and what happened around this time of year when he was alive, how I hit the floor with my knees and prayed to God that God didn't take him. He waited until after the holidays. And I'm not trying to preach to anybody, but, God was there. When I prayed to him in November, my husband was only supposed to live for 3 months. He had stage 4 liver cancer, and it was bad. They tried the chemo and everything, and it didn't work. And, I prayed to God that God didn't take him during Thanksgiving. Because I told him, I slammed my knees down, I just dropped. And I just cried out and I said, Lord, how can I be thankful if you take him on Thanksgiving? That's nothing for me to be thankful about. So he didn't take him then. And then when Christmas came, I basically cried about the same thing. I said, Lord, how can I, celebrate your birthday? Because that's what Christmas is about, is Jesus' birthday. I'm not trying to preach, like I said, because I'm not a preacher. I don't want to convert anybody. I'm just telling you what I went through and why it's hard for me during these times, and why we need to think of others, because there may be others that's going through the same thing. They may have lost a child, which is the worst thing to ever do. I have never experienced that. Thank the good Lord for that. But I know it is so hard for people to lose a child. And it's even harder when they lose them around the holiday times. So keep this in mind, But just remember, I love each and every one of you for who you are. You're all important because we're all uniquely made. And I want you all to know that you mean something to me. You're important to me. No one's better than anyone here. I'm no better than you and you're no better than me. I can't walk a mile in your shoes just like you can't walk a mile in mine. But I love you for who you are because I see with this here, my heart. I don't see with these. I have some sight, not much, but some. But this doesn't matter to me. This does. I don't want anybody's pity. I don't want anybody to feel sorry or anything like that. I'm not looking for that. I want to help each and every one of you out there to learn what I've learned. And the first way is by educating you. Because we don't know what the other person's going through. So therefore, we shouldn't be opening our mouths and saying anything bad. And, if we don't know what they're going through, and we say something we may not think is bad, but in that person's life, that little anthill to us can be a mountain to them and just be the string that breaks the camel's back. We don't want that. So remember to always see with your heart and not with the eyes. And remember, I love each and every one of you. So until we see each other again, bye. Love you all.